Good morning, everyone. In the last video I did that beech tree as a concept tree, and in this vid I'm going to be trying to finish up that species, so finishing up all the open grown beech trees. That includes 10, or at least for the trees that I do, that always includes 10 large versions and 5 medium, 5 small, and then 5 sapling size tree variants. That way you basically have a size that fits like every need, you know? So yeah, in the last video I spoke a little bit about the characteristics of these trees, you know, having like branches that point upwards or like stumps that point upwards, and when branches go outwards they kind of like lean down towards the end, that sort of thing. So I'm going to be trying to be executing those characteristics as well as possible. Another thing I'm going to do when building these trees is like have some that are like multi-trunked and some that are single-trunked. That way I'll always have like a good variety and no tree will look the same. But yeah, please enjoy the time lapse. Originally I also had like a couple shots of me like actually building the tree, but for some reason the recordings kind of broke. But yeah, this should be enough to just get the point across. While this time-lapse in the background is playing, I can talk a little about the channel itself, because honestly I'm not 100% certain in which direction I want to take the YouTube channel at this point. I know like the first couple of videos that I did were all like tutorials on terrain and that sort of thing, like how to do conquest layers, how to add schematics, biomes, all this fun. But honestly I feel like when it comes to tutorials on landscaping and terrain, everything that needs to be said has already been said, and the things that I haven't made videos about, other people have done tons of vids on. So I really just couldn't say. Maybe I'm gonna be going more in the direction of like posting more builds. Maybe it'll be like some tutorial content. But honestly, no idea, man. The issue with builds is that I'm a one-man team at the moment, so making content, like just the builds to make content on, takes like quite a long time. And honestly I'd like to post more frequent, but you know, like right now, like I'm not quite sure in which direction my builds are gonna go. Like I'm still doing trees at the moment, but I think I'm starting to get kind of burned out from doing it, because I've done like 300-400 trees at this point, and I think I want to start doing like actual builds again. But who knows, man. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the time lapse. Alright, so we're in the world now, looking at the trees. Yeah, no, they've turned out great. This is the one that we did last time. So in the last video, this is the concept tree we did. Multi-trunk, pretty tall at the bottom without any leaves, and then it starts getting bushy at the top. I really like the way this one turned out, and I kind of based the techniques that I used in all the other ones on this first one that I did. Yeah, I'm just gonna go tree from tree and see if there's anything special. This one's pretty normal, single trunk. You know, oh yeah, here's another one that splits off in the middle. Like I said, I kinda wanted to have a couple that kind of split off lower at the bottom. and I wanted to have a couple where the stem, trunk, or not stem, trunk is pretty like tall at the top. This one's also nice. This one's like a tri-trunk. Pretty cool, pretty cool. When it comes to moss on the trees, I like to just like, I don't like to have like a variant of these trees without moss. I kind of just put moss on like all of them. Some of them will have more moss and some of them will have less, you know. I also put like epiphytes on the trees, so little plants that will be growing on the branches, especially on the ones that are like more mossy. You'd see that in real life too. In places where it's like, oh shit, lag spike. In places where it's like more tropical or temperate climates, you'd have other like plants growing on trees. Like here's some other ones. Here's like some kind of lichen. This would be, but yeah, it looks pretty cool. These two are actually, I think, my favorite too. This one, I think, is just because they're quite thick at the bottom. So I think this one turned out really, really nice. Yeah, a pretty basic, a pretty large single trunk, but it looks good. And this is my favorite tree out of the bunch, I think, just because of the way the bottom of the trunk just looks. An extremely thick trunk for a beech tree, but I think it turned out quite nice. Oh yeah, and then of course you have like all the smaller versions. These aren't that interesting, you know, I just build these for variation in the landscapes, but they're not that, there's nothing special about them or anything. Something I would like to show you guys that some of y'all folks don't know about is to get some of the shapes, like to get some special looking shapes on the tree, like on the trunk itself. There's this new technique in the newer versions where you can have a vertical quarter on top of things and you can just debug it down. On the one side you can use that to like, that way the trees work with layers and stuff, but you can also get very interesting shapes with your trunk just by debugging vertical slabs to make things fit. Another thing you can of course do with that is you can have branches coming out at very, very strange angles that normally wouldn't work. Like for example, if I have a vertical slab right here, I can debug that down to have a branch coming out of the same block that the slab is in, or at the same block that the vertical quarter is in. The same thing also works with pillars, except that you can't use the pillar block itself, but you have to use the stump variant. So I can have the same thing coming on the other side, and if I, like with the pillars, you sadly cannot debug the pillars, they just change size. But what you can do is you can put the stump block on there and debug that. Damn, those birds really are loud, what the hell, man. But yeah, no, that's a little fun technique that I've used in all these trees just to add that extra bit of detail in them. So yeah, I hope this helps you folks a little bit. And now, dear people, we come to the end of this lovely video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know it wasn't much, but you know, I do my best. And making these videos takes more effort than one might think. Especially building the trees and whatnot. But anyway, I hope to see you guys around. I'll try to upload once every 2 weeks at least. Who knows if I'll actually meet that or not. Anyway, I wish you guys a lovely day, and see you later. Peace!